feeling of it. Okay, as everyone is walking over, I'd like to introduce, my sister is going to speak tonight. Like I told you before when I introduced our team, we have a board at our booth of how many family members have been affected by cancer. Last year I did not have to add any names, and it was nice. Every year we've had to add a name, and last year we did not. This year I had to add one name, and we started walking for my dad. He passed away coming on 6 years ago. So he's in the center, T, because he doesn't like his name. Sorry, but he's T. This year I had to add my sister. That was extremely difficult. She's 2 years younger than me. She'll tell you her story. But just so she feels bad when she tells her story, not about her story, but she's told me a little bit about what she's going to say, and I want her to feel bad about what she's going to say, because it might have something to do with me. I'm going to be nice to her when I introduce her. Okay, so everybody's coming over, it looks like, Karla. I want them to be here before you get here, though.
You're wasting battery on my camera.
I think they're coming. Teams, shut your boots down and come over to the grass. Shut your boots down and come to the grass.
You're wasting my battery.
It's good enough. Karla's going to start talking because the ones that want to hear are here. So here is my sister Karla, just as pretty as me.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to tell my cancer story on this very field where 30-odd years ago I used to have to come to football games every Friday night and miss the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family. You know, I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional, but it's the Brady Bunch and Partridge Family. And I missed it both to go to football games, cheer the Clarkfield Cardinals on to victory sometimes. Around this very track where I have lost every foot race I have ever ran, where I can see the very pool, okay, not the very pool, the very pool's twin. I didn't know until this event last year that you lost the pool in the tornado, and I thought my sister was pulling my leg, because how do you lose an in-ground pool in a tornado? But I'm told, I know, I'm told that, but it looks like the pool of my childhood, where I would swim. Okay, I can't swim, but where I would stand for hours. Anyway. So, here's my cancer story. Last fall, my shoulder started to ache like a bugger. So after a few weeks, I went to my physician's assistant. She examined me and she said, "Oh, by the way, you're overdue for a mammogram." So I went, "Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll make an appointment." And I left and didn't make the appointment. A few days later, her nurse called and said, "Stephanie Rapp wanted me to remind you, you're overdue for your mammogram. I can connect you right now." "Oh, I'm busy. I'm doing something. I can't do that. I'll make the appointment later." And I didn't make the appointment. And then this government panel came out with this recommendation that women start getting their mammos at 50. And I thought, I should get a mammo now before my insurance company says to me, "You're not 50. You don't need a mammo." So I made the appointment. And I went in and I did the whole pancake dorsal fin. You women know what I'm talking about. And I thought, well, that bit of unpleasantness is over for a year. Yeah, I was wrong. Few days later, the Hearst Breast Cancer Center called and they said they saw calcifications. They wanted to take a closer look. So I Googled calcifications and it says 50% of women over 50 have calcifications, and it's all fine. So I thought, I'm fine. I'm not over 50, but I'm fine. Let me tell you about the Hearst Breast Center in Eau Claire, Wisconsin at Luther Medical Hospital. It is beautiful. The waiting room is like the lobby of a high-end hotel. There's stained glass art, beautiful art quilts, twinkly music, like a high-end spa with millions of dollars of equipment and trained medical personnel. So I go in and I get the pancake dorsal fin magnified. And they meet me when I emerge from the dressing room and say, the nurse wants to review your results with you. And the twinkling music changes to dun dun dun. Okay, it didn't really, but in my head it did. So I meet with the nurse and she starts telling me about needle biopsies and, you're on a table and parts are through holes in tables and whatnot. And I say, this needle biopsy you're talking about, are you saying that you think I need one of those? And she said, yes. Yes, I do. You need one of those. So they had me meet with a surgeon ahead of time, and he examined me with his icy cold hands. He patted me on the knee, and he said, I don't feel anything scary in there. But then he put my mammogram up on the screen and showed me the white specks that looked like someone had at my mammo with whiteout. He said it could be cancer, it could be nothing. It was like a 25% chance it was cancer. I'm an optimist, so in my head, I was like, 75% that I don't have cancer. So I went and got my needle biopsy. They're not painful. They pump in lidocaine as they drill. The worst thing about a needle biopsy is the noise you hear. And you think, I hope they stop drilling when they hit rib. They say, the nurse will call you Thursday afternoon with results. Thursday noon, I pick up the phone, and it's not a nurse. It's my surgeon. And I knew he wasn't calling to say, oh, it's nothing, you're fine, see you next year. So I had my lumpectomy. That should have been the end of my story. Textbook procedure. We got everything that looked like bad stuff. A few days later, the surgeon calls, and I think, oh, that's so nice, him calling to check up on me. Oh, no. He got the pathology report. My tumor had a positive margin. There's more cancer. I go in to discuss option. He kept talking about, we'll have to do something more invasive, more invasive. So I said, this more invasive thing, are we talking about a mastectomy? He said, I was trying to avoid the M word, but yes, we are talking about a mastectomy. My heart just sank. And I looked at him and I said, well, I suppose I could give up my life on the pole. I was kidding. I had no intention of giving up my life on the pole. Okay, I'm lying. I'm a college administrator. Anyway, so he kept talking about options. So I said, what do you normally do with DCIS? That was my kind of cancer, DCIS, with a positive margin. And he said, that doesn't happen. We always get everything. DCIS doesn't have positive margins. I consulted with my colleagues, and they don't even remember DCIS with a positive margin. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I read the pathology report. Wow, I'm special. You know how entertaining it is on Grey's Anatomy when the surgeons kind of freak out? Yeah, it's not so entertaining in real life. It really isn't. So he said, we've let the horse out of the barn. We have to catch it. We have to get the cancer. Did you catch that? In that analogy, cancer was the horse, and I was the barn. I have cancer, and he's making fat jokes. So he said, here's what we'll do. You'll get a mammal, and that will tell us where it is. Then we'll go from there. Here's a tip. Cancer gives you cutsies in the mammal line. Not worth it. It was less than 2 weeks after my lumpectomy. Shall we say there was discomfort involved? It's okay, I bit down on my index finger. Just kidding. See, the technician says, I know you're sore from your surgery, so I'm only going to take 2 images. So she takes 2 images, goes back, looks at her screen, takes 2 more images, looks at her screen, takes 2 more images, looks at her screen. Then she says, I'm going to show the radiologist what we have so far, and we'll have to get his opinion. And his opinion was that we needed 1 more. Again, less than 2 weeks after surgery. So we, in total, took 7. I'd been promised 2. Took 7. I go up to my surgeon's office, and he says to me, and this is honest to God, true story, he says, I have good news and bad news. Didn't you always think that was a punchline to a joke? The good news is we don't see any cancer. The bad news is we don't see any cancer. It was at Christmas time, so he consults with the only oncologist he could find, and that guy says, let's radiate. So I meet with the radiation oncologist, and he says, I think we need to take a closer look with an MRI. Let's find that cancer. So when you make an appointment for an MRI, they say, do you have any claustrophobia issues? I say, no. I go for my appointment. Do you have any claustrophobia issues? No. They roll me into the tubes, and I was like, oh, be darned, claustrophobia issues. They give you earplugs. They cover those with huge headphones, and then they pipe music in, but it's still loud, like a metal bucket on your head hitting with a stick. A few days before that, a student had called my office, and I had to have him spell his last name, and he said, "It's K as in cancer?" And I didn't laugh right then. They don't like us to laugh right at the students. So I'm in the MRI and I'm singing, "K as in cancer that resides inside my chest." What? K as in cancer that resides inside my chest. Hey! And I didn't know later that, until a coworker told me that I was plagiarizing the other big C, Cookie Monster. C as in cookie. I didn't know that song. Apparently I did. So I get home from work and there's already a message to call back and get the results. I call back and the woman says, and I'm going to have to paraphrase because I don't remember her exact words. She says, medical term, medical term, medical term. And I say, what does that mean? So she says, different medical term, different medical term, different medical term. So I say, is this good news or bad news? And she said, let me put it to you this way. If it were bad news, you'd be talking to an oncologist. You're talking to me. It's good news, you're cleared to start radiation. So I did 21 treatments, 16 regular, 5 extra for positive margin. Die, cancer, die. And it was fine. The first day when they closed the door that's as thick as it is wide, I've never felt so alone in all my life. I wanted to run away, but I was elevated on a table 6 feet in the air, so I stayed. The machine makes these hydraulic amusement park noises when it moves, but boy howdy, worst amusement park ride ever. The fatigue is the worst part. Imagine the most tired you've ever been, multiply that by infinity, and then take that to the second power. I know the chemo people in the audience are probably thinking, yeah, try poison coursing through your veins, sister. But it was so hard to think. It was like my brain was wrapped in a mitten. I could think at maybe 1/4 speed. I thought, this is what it must be like to be Leanne Searing. I'm the little sister. I'm supposed to be annoying. And then thanks to the angels on earth at Luther Medical Hospital and Mayo Clinic of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, I became a survivor. I got to ring the survivor bell in the radiation waiting room. And I rang that bad boy like nobody's business. I wanted to shout to the world, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor. We brought bells with us. You'll see a bell by the Bronx Pride tent. If you're a survivor, ring that sucker as you walk by. Let the world know that you're a survivor. You know what the great thing about cancer is? Absolutely nothing. What are you, freaking kidding? It's emotionally draining, physically draining, financially draining, and even literally draining. Really. But they have salves for that. Look it up, moist skin reaction. The Pronk family has been hit hard by cancer. My dad died from cancer on November 26, 2004, and I still think about him every single day. The reality thing is the only thing better about being a cancer survivor is to never have cancer before. I wish I didn't know what it feels like to see your name on a luminary because it's weird. It's really weird. Especially that one over there where my mom used this 30-year-old picture that I hated when it was new. I really hate it now. Don't look at that one. But I did learn some things. First thing, get your mammogram, get your mammogram, get your mammogram. If you're male, get your female to get her mammogram, get her mammogram, get her mammogram. Encourage the women in your life to get their mammogram. Get weird things checked out. When I was in treatment, one of the contestants on the Survivor TV show died from breast cancer. She found a lump and waited a year to check it out. Your health is so important. Don't procrastinate. Yes, you have your stuff. You have stuff. You're busy. You have things. Take care of your health. And it's good to find out what I meant to people. I got a note from my Uncle Lou that I will treasure always. I'm a very lucky woman. As much as I hate getting older, I'm thrilled to be turning 47 in 8 days. That's right. You can put your card in the mail right now. I'll get it done. Lastly, I learned that K is in cancer that resides inside my chest. K is in cancer that resides inside my chest. Cancer, 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 you've been driven out of me! I am Karla Farrell, and I am a cancer survivor. Thank you.